Guess who's back with the podcast and who is ready to roll and give you guys a lot of surprises in season 2. Welcome to season 2 of Relationship to Self. This is your host Naisha, and I fulfilled your request. If you guys are listening to this on Spotify right now, then let me tell you that I have officially announced and decided that I will fulfill your request of recording my podcast in both audio and video formats. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, make sure you check out my YouTube channel, that is Naisha Khanna Official, and you can check out the video format of this episode as well. So yeah, welcome to episode 1 of season 2 of Relationship to Self. I am so excited for this because I've never really tried to even come up with an idea of recording it in both audio and video formats. However, you guys requested for it and I am here to deliver. So yeah, hi, I hope you guys are doing well, and let's get started with episode 1. Now, coming to the episode's topic, enough discussion about the audio format, video format and everything. This episode is basically going to be about how to stop making your life difficult and harder than it already is, and try to ease out into your life, and instead of putting too much thought process and too much of, oh my god, my life is so hard, we are going to learn about some mindset shifts that are going to help you to stop these thoughts that come in your head every single day and try to live your life a little more. Now, if you guys have been here for a while listening to season 1 of this podcast, then you guys know that I don't really create any scripts for my podcast episodes because I don't think that's very natural of somebody to do. However, some people do prefer scripts, so that's a huge different thing. But I am going to just say whatever comes to my mind and pick up topics that I think are suitable for this episode's main motto. Now, the first mindset shift that I think is personally very important for me to speak about is the victim mindset. Now, I think all of us might get an idea of what I'm going to be talking about by the name itself, because we all keep victimizing ourselves into this little bubble in our life, and whenever some difficult situations occur, we are always like, oh my god, why is this always happening to me? Why can't I have a better life? Why is this always and always happening to me only? Why can't it happen to somebody else? Why am I leading such a bad life? Let me tell you, this is so common nowadays, and if you relate to any of these dialogues that I just said right now, please don't feel bad about yourself or put yourself in this guilt trap, because I am here to help you, and we are going to remove this mindset from your head right now. Now, okay, let me ask you a few very practical questions, and I think you should ask this to yourself whenever you feel like you are victimizing your own life. The first question that you should be asking yourself is, why am I feeling like a particular situation is always happening to me? Secondly, you should remind yourself that situations don't happen to you only. Everybody has different problems and different shit going on, and you don't know everything about everybody, and nobody is born to tell you everything about their private life. So please, as soon as you think that, oh my god, okay, I think now I'm going to fall into this trap of overthinking and I'm going to victimize my own life and make myself feel bad about it, stop, take a deep breath, ask yourself why or what is the situation trying to tell me. Instead of thinking that why is this always happening to me, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? What is the situation trying to make me understand, or what is the person trying to make me understand, whatever the experience is, and what can you learn from the experience? Instead of trying to say that, why did this happen to me, or why is my life so bad? See, if there would be anything that you could change about your life, the first thing should be your mindset, honestly, and your own self, instead of trying to blame the other person or the other situations that come up in your life. So instead of victimizing and thinking that this is only happening to you, please ask yourself why it is happening to you. What is this trying to teach you? What lesson is it trying to implement, and what is the experience trying to make you feel, or how is it trying to make you feel? and maybe it is just a lesson for you to learn so that in future nothing like that happens again. So basically, as soon as you find yourself going into the trap of victimizing and overthinking, stop, take a deep breath, and ask yourself all of these questions. I think they might help you to stop thinking about your life is so bad and blah 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 and all of those stupid self-talk negative things that you guys do, and it will help you to refocus and redirect your path towards what the situation is actually trying to teach you. And the next mindset that I'm going to be talking about is so common nowadays, and trust me, I am totally against it. I don't support people who think like that because, okay, people have started romanticizing struggling. How does that make sense? Why would you appreciate, or why would you make someone feel good about a struggling life? Now, I'm not saying that people should not struggle, or struggling takes you nowhere, because honestly nobody gets to nobody gets to a point in their life without struggling. Obviously struggle is very important, but stop romanticizing struggling, like how people romanticize taking evening walks and self-care and everything. That is completely fine, but romanticizing struggle and leading a hard life, please don't romanticize that. Because when you start romanticizing struggle, you feel like if you're not struggling, you're not leading a good life, and then it puts you into a whole another trap of overthinking and feeling like your life is not good enough just because you're not struggling. Trust me, not struggling is good, and struggling is also good, because it takes you to some point in your life where you feel like, okay, I've reached here, I've achieved this goal because I struggled back then. But not struggling is also fine. It doesn't mean that you're doing nothing in your life. It basically means that your life is a little bit easier and has a little bit of less struggle compared to other person in your life that you may be comparing yourself to. Now, people have actually romanticized struggle so much that they are competitive about who's struggling more. Why? Are you guys leading the same life? Or are you guys the same person? Or do you have the same dreams? Or do you have the same favorite things to do and same dislikes and likes? And is everything same? No. That's why you are two different people, right? Now, why would you compare your struggle with somebody else's? They have completely different goals, you have completely different goals, and then you're like, dude, I'm struggling more than you. Why you so upset about your life? I have more struggles than you ever do. I struggle on daily basis, you only struggle on weekends. Girl, stop. You are not supposed to compare anybody's struggle with your own one, because everybody is different and they have different goals to achieve. They have different problems in life, and nobody has the same problem. So why would anybody have the same amount of struggle as you? Or why would they have more? Why would you even wish for somebody to have more struggle than you? Or why would you wish yourself to have more struggle than somebody else? It is literally pointless. Now, if we see, being competitive about things is completely fine. It is in fact important in this generation, because some people are super casual about their goals and some people are super competitive. I think being in the center is the best part, because this way you achieve your goals without making it into a wrestling competition with somebody else. And firstly, they are your own goals, not another person's. So rather than trying to make it a competition, try to make it a challenge for yourself instead of somebody else. And stop comparing your struggle, your hard work, your efforts with somebody else, because they lead a completely different life. They are a completely different individual, and the more you compare your struggles, the more you will find yourself struggling. Because whenever you keep saying that I struggle more than you, or I have more shit to do than you on a daily basis, and all of that blah 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 blah, you are actually manifesting more struggle to come into your life, and you make your own life hard in that way. So instead of focusing on how much somebody else is struggling, focus on your own life and try to ease out into it instead of making every day a struggle for yourself. Now, instead of waking up and immediately doing all of your work and taking your to-do list. You think that is struggle, right? Instead of doing that, you can actually wake up, have half an hour or 1 hour to yourself where you drink your favorite beverage. Like I drink cold coffee whenever I wake up, and then I ease out into my morning. I make my to-do list, or if I've already made it the previous night, what I do is I scroll through Pinterest and find some motivation if I am low on motivation that day, and I simply start whatever is written in my task list. So instead of making every day your struggle, try to romanticize things, but only good things, please, and try to make your life a little easier. Instead of trying to hustle every single day and working 24/7 and not giving yourself breaks, because that is not something good that you are doing, and that is not something to be competitive about with somebody else in your life. That is really making your own life hard. So instead of doing all of that, you can try to ease out into things and make your life a little easier, and not compare your life with somebody else or your struggles with somebody else. Now, the next mindset that I'm going to be talking about is the self-doubt mindset. Again, very common, and I think most of you will relate to this. At some point, even I was relating to this one, and even the victim mindset. So don't think that you're alone in this. It's fine. It's completely okay to relate to these mindsets, because we all are constantly evolving, and today's generation is very different. So it is difficult, but we're gonna make it through. So please don't feel guilty or something. And yeah, so the self-doubt mindset basically sounds like, am I doing good enough? Do I deserve happiness? Is my life that bad? Why is my life bad? Or am I doing good enough every single day to make my life the best? Now, all of these questions are at some point valid to ask yourself, that are you doing good enough, or are you doing enough for your future self? But when you find yourself doubting your own ability to live a good life, that is where the real struggle comes in, and that is where you make life harder for your own self. Now, instead of asking yourself whether you are hustling enough or whether you deserve happiness, firstly, of course you deserve happiness. How do you even think that you don't? Because every human deserves happiness, no matter how bitchy they are, no matter how bad they are, or how uncool they are. I think every human deserves a little boost of happiness every single day. So firstly, do not ask that question to yourself, please. Otherwise, I won't talk to you. Anyways, so instead of doubting yourself so much and doubting your own abilities and making your own life hard by thinking that whether you're doing enough every single day, just give your best shot. Literally, wake up, ease out into your morning, do your task, take your to-do list, and achieve your goals. And I think that is enough. I don't think there should be any place or any time for you to doubt your own self, because trust me, you're doing great, and I'm so proud of you. And even if on some days you feel like you need rest, please give rest to yourself. You don't have to hustle 24/7. You don't have to work 24/7. You deserve breaks. Every human does, and it's completely fine. There is no need to doubt yourself or doubt your ability to work towards your goal, because if you're watching this video and if you want to make your life easier, that itself is a sign that you work really hard and you want to work more towards your life and your goals, which is exactly why you're watching this video or listening to the audio format on Spotify. So please stop doubting yourself, and instead of making your own life harder by those thoughts that consume your head on a daily basis, just do your job every single day and give yourself breaks, and smile often. And I think it is better than doubting yourself or your abilities. And coming to the next mindset, that is the fourth mindset, and it is the procrastination mindset. Now, a lot of us have a lot of things to do on a daily basis, right? We all have goals, we all have dreams, and we all have things to do every single day to achieve our dreams. Now, the more we procrastinate, or the more we delay the task, we feel that it is harder to do when we actually sit to do them, right? Now, when I have to finish a particular project, I mostly do it, but sometimes when I'm too tired, or when I have shoots, or when I have a busy schedule, I usually procrastinate on them, and then when I actually have to sit to do them, I feel like it is such a burden. So instead of letting myself procrastinate, see, sometimes I do procrastinate, and that is completely fine. I'm human. I cannot be productive 24/7. But mostly, how to get out of the bubble, what I do is that I tell myself that, Naisha, if you don't do this task right now, you will feel like it is a burden in your schedule the next time you sit to do it. And that is how I get myself motivated and all worked up to complete the task, so that it is not added to my to-do list the next day and I don't have to delay it or procrastinate on it. Now, by procrastinating, we make our own life even more difficult. We keep on delaying the task and delaying the task until we actually feel like, oh my god, I have to complete this right now, right? And then we suddenly go into that trap of a burden, and then we start saying things to ourselves like, oh my god, I have so much to do, why is my life so hard, blah blah blah. That is exactly how your life turns harder than it already is, because you procrastinate on your task, and then this gets added up to the next list, and then you feel like your life is a burden when it actually is not. The next mindset is that of an overthinking one. Now, we all overthink, we all have so many thoughts going in our head every single day. We have a lot of thoughts, and sometimes we can't really categorize whether we are actually overthinking or whether the thought is actually a fact. It's completely fine to overthink. You don't have to blame yourself. Again, I'm telling you constantly not to blame yourself, so that while you feel like you're relating to this video or the things I'm saying, I don't want you to feel guilty about it. Instead, try to change that thing about you, because that is obviously better than feeling bad about it and sitting and crying and all of that. So when we start overthinking about our own life, we actually feel like our life is really hard, or we think that our life is really hard, and then suddenly everything feels very hard and difficult, and even the tasks that are not really difficult, we feel like not doing them because of the thoughts going on in our head. So I suggest that whenever you find yourself overthinking about things or situations that are happening around you, just try to take deep breaths and try to focus on the task at hand. I know it is easier said than done. I've experienced this a lot of times, but instead of letting those thoughts consume you and make you believe that your life is difficult, try to let go of those thoughts. Like, what I usually do when I find myself overthinking a lot about a particular thing is that I imagine myself standing and I imagine my thoughts passing by. Okay, like they're passing by and I'm watching them go. And that is how I let go of some of my thoughts. I don't do this on a daily basis. Sometimes I do let myself overthink and get over the situation, because that's completely fine. I mean, it depends on your mentality and how you get over things. So sometimes I do let myself overthink for a night or two and rot and cry about the situation, and then I move on from it. But sometimes I do, imagine myself standing, and then I let the thought pass by without putting too much into it or without letting it consume my whole head. So yeah, I mean, you can do such things, or you can tell yourself some affirmative things that help you, or you can calm yourself down or distract yourself or do your favorite thing and all of that. Because when you overthink, you feel like your life is hard, and then after some point you will start believing that your life is hard when it actually is not. So instead of making your own life more difficult and feeling like it is very difficult to live through, just distract your mind or cool your mind down or move on from the situation or let go. Whatever you do, it depends on you. It's a personal thing, but please don't overthink and make your life harder than it already is. Now, coming to the sixth mindset that I'm going to be talking about in this episode, which is, I can never be happy. I don't deserve happiness. I always am sad, so I don't deserve to smile. I don't deserve to be happy. I have heard people say this in front of me, like literally. And I can't even imagine how somebody says that to themselves, because why would anybody think that they don't deserve happiness? I think we all hope for happiness in our life, and we all hope that our life is always, all joyful and smiley instead of hoping that our life is bad. I mean, you are literally manifesting more sadness in your life by saying all of those things to yourself on a daily basis. So we can actually be happy, we can actually smile, we do deserve happiness. Say all of those things when you find yourself thinking that you don't deserve happiness or something, because as I said previously in this episode, we all deserve happiness, no matter the situations that occurred, no matter the mistakes we made, because eventually you have to let go of those mistakes and go on with your life. Because if you don't let go of those mistakes, you are going to trap yourself forever, and you cannot do that. Would you like to waste your whole life thinking about that one thing that you said to that person ages ago? No. I mean, okay, making mistakes and regretting and all of that is fine, it is normal, it is human, but constantly blaming yourself for it and then thinking that you don't deserve happiness is literally pointless. Instead of doing all of that, you can actually learn a lesson from it and not repeat the same thing again, and that is how you make your life more easier than it is. And yeah, I mean, please don't think that you don't deserve happiness, because all of us do, and we can actually be happy if you stop thinking that. Now the second last mindset, that is the seventh one, is ease out into your daily life. Don't make your routine so worked up. Don't work 24/7. You don't have to hustle and struggle all day every day. Just give yourself breaks when you need them. It is completely fine. And I think, add a little self-care and happiness every single day. No matter how busy you are, please at least find 15 or 10 minutes for yourself, or even 5 minutes for yourself, and do the thing that you like the most. Now whenever I feel like I'm having a bad day, I have a list in my notes app. Literally the holy grail of my phone is my notes app. It knows everything about me. So whenever I feel like I'm having a bad day, or my mood is down, or I'm low on energy, what I do is I open my notes app and then I see what are the things that make me happy. So I have a list of those things, and then I try to incorporate those things into my schedule so that I am feeling a little more lighter and happier than before. And yeah, that's how I make my daily routine so easy. A lot of you guys think that, oh my god, Naisha is so busy and she has such a difficult life and all of that. If we keep on thinking that we have a difficult life, we will have a difficult life. But if we try to incorporate things that we love every single day in our life, then our life will feel a lot lighter and easier than it is. You can incorporate anything that you feel like will help you to cool your mind down. So what I do is, whenever I feel low or whenever I don't feel good, I either talk to my best friend, or I either see YouTube videos of my favorite people, or I see my favorite Netflix series, or I drink something cold so that I feel like, okay, it is fine, Naisha, you can breathe, because it is so hot nowadays, and then you are so overwhelmed with everything going on that you feel like you need to calm yourself down. And sometimes I do that by having cold coffee. I think everybody knows that if you follow me on my Instagram, or if you have been listening to my season 1 episodes, I've mentioned cold coffee a lot of the times. I am a huge supporter of it. But anyways, so basically, know yourself so much that you know what to do when you feel low, and make sure you have that list on your notes app or anywhere, even in your journal, if you are that kind of person to write it down and keep. Because even though you know that it makes you happy, if you have a list about the things that make you happy, it will be more helpful to you whenever you're feeling low. So just open that list and incorporate at least one thing into your routine every single day to feel a little lighter and feel like, okay, life is going fine. Talking about the last and the final mindset of this episode, which is, it is really never that deep or serious. Now a lot of us are so overwhelmed with everything going on that we actually take things very personally, when most of the times it is not even directed towards us, because what people say or think about us is on them. It is not in our control, right? But sometimes we just overthink so much that, will they even like me? Am I even good enough to be their friend? And all of that. We actually take things so deep and we feel things so deeply that we forget that it is actually making our life difficult, and making our heads go mad behind other people, when we really have to focus on our own life and our own self instead of somebody else. So whenever you find yourself taking things a little too serious, please remind yourself that it is really never that serious nor that deep, or it is never always directed towards you. Sometimes what people say, or people love to throw their opinions, either it is on social media or real life, or sometimes it can be your own family members or your own friends or your best friends. Please remind yourself that it is not directed towards you. It is a projection of what they think of you, or their past experiences or their current experiences. Whatever they say about you or whatever opinion they throw about you is never directed towards you. It is their own mindset, their own mentality. As I said, people are different. You cannot be the same as other person. So they have their own mindset, right? And you cannot try to change that because they are not in your control. All you can control is your own mindset, your own character, your own life, your own daily routine. What you can do is everything connected towards you, right? And what they can do is everything connected towards them. So instead of taking every opinion or everything so seriously, please remind yourself that it is not in your control, and you cannot change the person, or you cannot try to change their mentality. And remind yourself that you have to stop taking things so seriously and focus on your life. And please refocus yourself and keep your head away from listening to those opinions and all, because it really doesn't matter. The whole world is filled with so many people, and one person should not be enough to ruin your whole life. Now we finally come to an end of this episode, and I am so excited honestly for the second episode as well, because I have so many different concepts to talk about. And now that I've started the video format thing as well, I am more excited because I can actually show what I want to tell you guys, like express myself through the video. And in audio also I could do that, but it was not as helpful as a video format, right? And I think you guys will like the video format more. But anyways, make sure that you check out my description box, because I have a lot of things listed down there, like my social media accounts and my podcast account, my book link that you can buy from Amazon or Flipkart, and I also have my new music album linked in the description box. So make sure you check that every single time you listen to my podcast episodes, and or you see my podcast episodes. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys have a great week ahead, and please stop thinking that your life is hard. And yeah, I love you guys. I'm so proud of you, and take care of yourself. See you next time. Bye.